Connecting culture through food. Emma Chen is in her element as the ultimate Chinese host. She's been welcoming guests to her restaurant Red Chamber in Johannesburg for nearly 3 decades. This open-minded, easygoing person was only supposed to stay and study in Johannesburg for a couple of years. For decades now, her restaurant has been renowned for its occasional set-menu dinners offering classic Chinese cuisine. This evening it's roast Beijing duck.
I'm Emma Chen, which is the name I use in South Africa. My Chinese name is Chen Yingming. I've been in South Africa for the past 35 years.
Emma opened her first restaurant in Johannesburg 28 years ago. She's upgraded her menu and her location twice since then, and now the Red Chamber is a fixture in a north-central shopping centre. Tonight, the Red Chamber is putting on one of the most important and delicious events of the year.
We are about to host our famous Peking duck evening. You will see it's fully booked. All the tables outside and the staff are busy preparing the tables.
Today is especially a very big day for our restaurants for the Peking duck, but I feel like today is the best of them all.
Up front, it's the calm before the storm. 200 customers will begin arriving in an hour. It's a different story in the hectic kitchen, where Emma is supervising the prep, which began the day before.
We do a few times a year only. We try to vary the theme, so for people, it's not only food, it's a cultural experience. It's a festivity. This way.
Emma offers a last-minute pep talk to her wait staff, reminding them to offer classy service fit for a classic Chinese dish.
We are famous for our Peking ducks. So when I do duck evening, I normally get booked off within the first 48 hours.
Emma is always the perfect host. She's a classy woman who knows a delicious meal is made better by a welcoming atmosphere.
My customers, they love to come for the special evenings because of the ambiance. Ambiance when everybody, like-minded people, under one roof. It's packed to capacity, everybody eating the same food, and the ambiance is just great.
For many of Emma's long-serving African staff, prepping and cooking Chinese has become second nature.
The kitchen is about 10, including the scullery. They are African and a few Zimbabweans. One of them especially has been with me for more than 20 years.
To help orchestrate such a busy evening, Emma is backed by a dedicated and loyal kitchen staff, almost all of them African.
I make a flour, I make dumpling, I make Chinese pizza, toyobi, I make pancake, I make many things, cooking rice, dumplings, vegetable dumplings, and beef dumplings, and pancake for this Peking duck.
Emma knows it's not easy to transition from one culinary culture to another. If you're not born into it, you never really acquire a natural affinity for the newly learned cooking style.
We are training African chefs. When you don't grow up with a cuisine and you learn something mechanically, you can achieve it, but you don't have the flexibility of changing the dish or creating new dishes, which I assume would be the drawback with moving towards African chefs only. But we will always have Chinese chefs.
After almost 3 decades in the restaurant business, Emma has learned there's more to life than work. She and her husband Colin have built a lovely, stylish home in a Johannesburg suburb, not far from the Red Chamber. It's filled with cross-culture works of art, and on weekends it's filled with friends.
My husband has a nickname, which is Sesame Ball, because he used to be my customer, and he always orders sesame balls as his dessert. So all the staff would call him Sesame Ball when they saw him coming down. And then slowly we became friends. And then he became my husband. He enjoyed cooking very much. He cooked Italian, he can also cook Thai, he can cook Japanese. He loved to read recipes and he remembered them. Also his dessert. He always make his own dessert. So when friends come, they will say, "Is Colin making dessert tonight?" They're so looking forward to it. We often entertain, yes. He is the most hospitable person, very generous with his friends, which I admire. He's one of the most intelligent people I ever met. If he fell in love with my food, I fell in love with his brain. Also, he taught me to be generous in spirit, too generous to myself too.
Emma is a thoughtful, well-spoken person who craves her own alone time. The unconditional love she receives from her dogs, Dali and Xiaoju, fills out her family.
The best time is in the morning. I come out, have some tea, have some snacks with my children around, or I throw balls of them. Makes me very happy. I love the fact that we have a large sky. I think having a large space makes you more open-minded. Donna? 来，小聚集。
200 guests are expected for the Red Chamber's Beijing Duck Night. Many have been dining at Emma's since her first restaurant opened decades ago.
I started in Rosebank. Then I moved to Hyde Park. Then 2 years ago, I moved from same shopping center, but from upstairs to downstairs. So when I get old customer who will tell me that, Emma, I knew you from Rosebank days. I went to you when I was this little, or I used to go with my parents when I was this little. Then you felt very close to them.
I would say 30 years, as long as she's been open.
Not only does Emma have many faithful customers, some of her staff have been working for her for years. Jackson McKeesey has been working at Emma's since 1991, when he first came to Johannesburg. He was 21 years old, started as a dishwasher, and is now a chef at the Red Chamber.
I want to tell you something. 97, I go together and another Chinese here. This Chinese say, I want to go open a restaurant. I give you money. I tell Emma. Emma say, if this one no give you money, you come back. After 3 months, this guy changed. No, this money too much. So I go back. Emma say, I tell you, come, sit down, working. So I want to say, Emma, my sister, my mother,
I've been working in Red Chamber Chinese restaurant for 16 years. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the way how we do, how we cook. All our foods, they are so healthy. We are having so many vegetarian dishes that they keep us fit and strong, as you see. Emma is so kind, and he's a bit of a woman that he can speak and show you. He teaches us a lot from zero to up with how to cook Chinese food, how to serve our customers. And I think Emma is the best in the Chinese restaurant.
Customers are seated, dinner is served. The dining performance is underway.
For me, restaurant is a theater. People go to eat, not just because they can't eat anywhere else. They go there for the experience. Look at the Peking duck evening. Why is it so popular? Not because they can't order Peking duck normally, but to get people sharing the same food. It's drama, it's theater, and the experience is everything.
The last 3 weeks we've been here for 2 crab evenings and this duck. I was just remarking to my friend when I tasted her pickled carrots, her stuff has always got a subtle flavour. Her food is, to me, the best Chinese restaurant in Johannesburg, and I'm mad for Chinese food.
While word of mouth from happy clients brings in new faces, the Red Chamber enjoys high rating on social media. The website TripAdvisor calls it one of the best Chinese restaurants in Johannesburg.
Well, she was first in Rosebank Mews, and then she moved to Hyde Park there, and then here. I remember her calamari dish in black bean was 11 Rand.
These days, 11 Rand is the cost of a bottle of water. A lot has changed in South Africa in 30 years, including local people's appreciation for fine Chinese cuisine.
I think you can see from my menu. 28 years ago, people knew little about Chinese food. What they knew about was set menu. People would come to a restaurant and say, I want fried rice. They thought it's so funny to call it fried rice because we cannot pronounce fried rice. Difference nowadays, people come to the restaurant, they will say, Ni hao. People have been to China, people do business with China, they will tell you that they want to send their children to learn Chinese. So that makes me very proud.
Emma's accomplishments in South Africa also give her a deep sense of pride. Her guests consider her one of their own, and they can sense she's content in Johannesburg.
And she seems extremely happy. I look at us, I think, as South Africa. I've never really given a thought, but I would say as one of us.
Both Emma and Colin have an open mind when it comes to their art collection. Of course, it's an eclectic mix of Chinese and African pieces that perfectly reflects the diversity of the household.
In the early 80s, I came here to pursue study in South Africa. My original plan was to stay here for 2 years. But such is fate that I fell in love with this country. I'm a very warm person. I'm very affectionate. And I think I gave him that. There are many things, cross-cultural marriages, there are many things that I laugh about. They are much more private. We have much less distance. I think I'm very honored to be Chinese. Very glad that I was born a Chinese person and I learned that's my culture, that's my background. And I always try to convey that sense to my customers. I think that is the essence of Chinese culture, to be reciprocal. You receive in one hand, you give in the other hand. It's never one-way traffic. So if you enjoy the benefit of a country, especially if you know the history of the people in South Africa, I think it's everybody's heart to help them, to pay back, and hopefully this country will move forward.